and the romance was just sizzling. It was so beautiful. Hello besties, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing great, and in today's video I decided to talk about binge-worthy books. These are perfect if you want to get out of a reading slump, or if you are just in the mood of reading a fast-paced book that will keep you turning the pages and interested enough to just fly through it. These are perfect for that. And the first book that I'm going to talk about is up here. Loath to Love You by Ali Hazelwood. I've never talked about this book before. This is an adult STEM romance. It's a collection of steamy STEM novellas featuring a trio of engineers and their love interests. We have Under One Roof, Stuck With You, and Below Zero. These are the three novellas in this book, and all three of them are STEM adult rom-coms, and each novella focuses on a member within a friend group. We have Mara, Hannah, and Sadie. Under One Roof was a forced roommate situation, and in Stuck With You it was literally that. They were stuck with each other in an elevator. And Below Zero was kind of a rescue mission. There was a lot of banter, humor, and tension, and this book was just so easy to fly through. If I remember correctly, I finished this one in one sitting, maybe two, and it was so entertaining. I highly recommend as a palate cleanser if you are reading too much of a high fantasy or like books that touch upon serious topics. This is perfect to just light up the mood. I love this so much. Next up is another contemporary romance. The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. This is an adult contemporary romance, and in this book we follow Stella Lane. She's a successful woman in her field. She's like a brilliant mathematician, and she builds these algorithms to predict customers' purchases. And she also has a form of autism spectrum disorder, and in all three books in this companion series there is one of the lead characters that has autism spectrum disorder, and I found that just so unique and interesting to read about. And in this book, Stella's mom keeps insisting that she needs to start dating and find a suitable husband and start a family. And the problem is social interaction and seduction are not that high on her list of qualities. So what she decides to do is hire an escort to help her with at least one of her shortcomings, and that's how she meets Michael, the man who will change her life. What I loved about this book is that there were a lot of challenges that the characters needed to face, both on a personal level and also in their relationship. I also enjoyed watching them get through their insecurities, and also Michael's family was so funny and sweet. And the couple in this book, Stella and Michael, they were just so cute, and I was smiling and giggling the whole way reading this, and their chemistry was just on point. And as I said, this book and also the other books in the series, they made me understand better people with autism spectrum disorder. They were so insightful and eye-opening, and overall I highly recommend if you want a sizzling romance and a very fast read. The next book is another adult rom-com. It is called The Fake Mate. I have raved about this book a lot. I think it was in my January wrap-up. In this story, we have dual POVs, which made it even more fun because you get to see what the other person is thinking and both perspectives on the same situation, which was so hilarious at times. And both of them are very career-driven doctors, and they are not looking for love or like long-term relationships, and they are working at the same hospital. So we have Noah, who has a reputation of being antisocial and a grump, and Mackenzie, she's friends with everyone at the hospital. So the situation was that Mackenzie needs a boyfriend to keep her insisting grandma and her family off her back, And Noah needs to have a maid so he can keep his job in the hospital, because according to them, shifters who do not have a maid are unstable and can be unpredictable. And of course, this is not the best thing to have in a hospital. So they strike a deal to become fake mates so they can mutually benefit from the situation. She has a sunshine personality, and she's also secretly an Omega Wolf shifter. And he is a grumpy alpha shifter, and he does not know that she's an Omega. I told you before, I devoured this book. It was one of the most fun rom-coms ever. It was just so light and easy to get into and binge. Our two main characters were so opposite yet complemented each other perfectly, and the chemistry was off the charts. There was a lot of steam and emotional moments that will make you kick your feet in excitement. I mean, the fake dating trope is one of my favorite tropes, and this one has a plus because it has a unique twist to it that made the book unputdownable. I just absolutely ate it up, and I think this is one of the most bingeable reads ever. Okay, now entering in a darker territory with a gothic thriller romance. Where is it? It is Gothicana by Runix. If I were to describe it in one word, I would say it is very sensual. It was also so suspenseful and had the most bone-chilling plot twists. I'm telling you, you will be as lost as the students in this university. The whole time reading this book, I was like, what is happening in here? What is going on? And that made me fly through it. I flew through this book. It is just one of these books that you cannot put down once you start them. The setting of this book is a haunted castle university called Varenmore. It is so spooky and atmospheric with like dark, creepy woods and a cemetery and a dark lake. It was so chilling. We follow Corvina, and let me say she's one of the most beautiful main female characters ever, with her like raven hair and purple eyes. She received an invitation to enroll in this university, and there she meets the mysterious Professor Vad. This is a forbidden romance between a professor and a student, but Corvina was only 5 years younger than Vad, and I don't typically gravitate towards these kind of reads, but once I started reading, I couldn't put it down. I had to know. I just had to know. The mystery and the dark vibes got me hooked, and I needed to know how the story was going to unfold. And the unreliable characters added so much to the mystery of the plot and the anxious, creepy atmosphere. And I fell in love with their love story. They found each other in a dark place, and I truly, truly believe that their unwavering love for each other is what ended up saving them. The plotline, the atmosphere, and the characters make this book so, so unique and so binge-worthy. Next up, we are entering in vampire territory with King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair. In this book, the world is filled with vampires and deadly creatures, and that's why our main female character, Princess Isolde, she's the princess of Lara. Lara is the name of the kingdom. She has been trained not only to learn to defend herself, but also to someday take the throne and rule by herself, because she does not plan on getting married despite her father's wishes. And we have Aiden, aka the Blood King, who has been on a quest to conquer the whole continent of Cordova, including the kingdom of Lara. So when his army arrives at Lara's borders, King Henry, who is Isolde's father, takes a look at Aiden's huge army and directly knows that there is no chance in beating this army, that they are no match to this mighty vampire army, and that there is no way they are going to defeat them, and they will probably end up all dead if they try to. So he tries to bargain with Adrian to save his people, and Adrian finally accepts his surrender, the king's surrender, on one condition. It is that he wants Isolde to become his betrothed and his queen, and he promised his father that he will treat her with respect And of course, at the beginning, the king totally refused, but then Isolde convinced him because the refusal meant that people are going to die because of her. So she married him, but she was so surprised by how good and kind he was to her, and how he was praising her for her strength, and how he was faithful and loyal to his word and his promise to her father. And he was so protective of her. It was so heartwarming. And she starts discovering the truth behind this war and why Adrian is doing what he's doing. And in addition to the arranged marriage trope, we have scenes with the dagger to the throat that I love. And the romance was just sizzling. It was so beautiful. And I can still remember some scenes where Adrian was expressing his feelings and his love to Isolde, and his words made me melt. It was so good. I enjoyed this book so much, and it was very easy to read. Highly recommend if you want a bingeable, sizzling, hot vampire romance. This is for you. Next up is another vampire book, Winged Vampires this time. It's none other than The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. This is one of my top reads of 2023, and I also talked about it in my top fantasy book recs without Faye. So you already know I adore this series so much. And in this book we follow Araya. She's a human girl raised in a vampire world, and she grew up to be one of the strongest main female characters ever. She's such a badass who stands up for the weak. I love her. We also have true enemies to lovers. Literally, they are on two different sides of the conflict between their kingdoms, so they are true enemies. We have deadly trials, and the winner earns the favor of the vampire goddess Nyaxia. And we have an adorable, grumpy dad, aka Vincent, the king of House of Night. Vincent was one of these characters who sneak up on you and steal your heart. I didn't see it coming. One of a sudden, I was like, oh crap, there we go. It happened again. I'm just in love with this character. And Rain is the most adorable, memorable love interest ever. He has the biggest heart, and he's so caring and lovable, and their banter was top notch. Like, I will remember their banter for the rest of my life. I loved every interaction between them. The romance, the action, the plot twists in this book will for sure keep you turning the pages. The series is just phenomenal. I'm 100% attached and invested in this story, and I cannot wait for the rest of the books to come out. This is one of the most bingeable fantasy romances ever. And yeah, that was it for me today, book besties. That was the last book recommendation for me in this video. If you made it this far, leave me the vampire emoji and let me know if you read one of these books and what you think about them. And if you like the video, please subscribe and join the community of book besties here. I would appreciate it so much. And yeah, thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!